Gründerkanal nummer 121. Velkommen skal du være. Du, i dag så snakker jeg med Susie Moore, og holy smoke for en dame. Jeg er bare helt bergtatt, fordi at sjelden har jeg ledd så mye, og sjelden har jeg lært så mye i et intervju. Du blir bare tatt av hennes humør og hennes attitude til livet. Så hvis du har tenkt på å starte en sidejobb eller en bi-inntekt, så er dette boka å lese. Jeg er i hvert fall helt hekta. Jeg har lest den i helga, og den er bare så utrolig bra. Så lytt til intervjuet, så må jeg bare si beklager. Kontakten på mikrofonen min var ikke under intervjuet, så jeg passer på at hun hadde god lyd, men min lyd sugde. Så forhåpentligvis så snakker hun mest. Du vet, med intervjuene mine så vet du jo aldri, sånn at du ikke blir plaget ut av det. Men nyt denne dama, for vet du hva? Dette er det beste intervjuet jeg leverer til deg i 2017 så langt. For at mer har jeg vel, altså jeg har ikke ledd så på lenge. Og du blir å skjønne hvorfor. Og så må du bare gå og få med deg boka. Den er bare rå. Du blir godt humør, og du blir å få den selvtilliten du trenger til. Altså, den kunne like godt ha vært en selvtillitsbok. For jeg fikk, altså, dette er selvtillit på boks, og den er så lettlest, den er 4 timer. Så gå og kjøp den på Amazon, og så går du inn på whatifitdoesworkout.com whatifitdoesworkout.com/Gry, og jeg får ingen affiliate, altså det er ikke en affiliate-link, det er bare for at du skulle få hennes gratis kurs. Så det er ikke penger å tjene på det, så det er ikke derfor jeg sender deg dit, bare så du er klar over det. Ingen annonse. Men jeg vil bare at du skal gå inn og få den frie boka, den frie workshopen, for hun er bare en av de råeste damene jeg er blitt kjent med i år. Og jeg er bare så takknemlig for vennene mine. Altså, jeg ble anbefalt denne dama av 3 av mine dyktigste gründervenner her i New York, eller Root City i Florida. Men vi er et gjeng da som henger sammen, som hjelper hverandre, og så går ut og snakker og forteller hva vi står oppi, og hvor vi trenger hjelp. Og vi er bare et gjeng som er veldig snill med hverandre. Og tenkte jeg det at hvis du er gründer, og du har noen som du tenker du kan connecte, for det var det disse gjør, både Selina, som du har hørt på gründerkanalen, Laura Belgray, som du har hørt på gründerkanalen, og forhåpentligvis kommer Ruth Supkop også på gründerkanalen. Alle de 3 jentene sa bare, Gry, du må møte Susie, deres energi er bare så herlig i lag. Jeg er overbevist om at dere kan hjelpe hverandre og ha stor glede ut av hverandre. Og halleluja har de fått rett. Du blir å elske denne dama. Og jeg gleder meg så til å bli enda bedre kjent med henne. Men enn så lenge, les denne fantastiske boka, bestill den, og ta den workshopen, den gratis workshopen du får da, for hun er bare rå. Og hvis du har tenkt til å starte en liten bi-jobb ved siden da, så man bare, vet du hva, det kan endre livet ditt, så ta action, som hun sier, innen 24 timer etter du har lest boka. Ok, ha en strålende uke, og nyt intervjuet med den beste humørsprederen i verden.
Good morning, Gry.
Good morning. My sister from another mother, or is it brother?
I know, and I know the expression is, but yes, sisters in New York.
Yes, the sisters in New York. So you must be the most popular person in New York, Susie. I have never ever had like 3 of my good friends, you know, have you ever met Susie? I'm like, one. How many are there? And I mean, Selena, Laura, and Ruth was all raving about you, so that was cool. I'm so happy to finally meet you.
I'm so happy to finally meet you too, and I've equally heard lots about you, Gry, so it's very exciting to be chatting right now.
And you're out with a new book. I'm so happy to have you here. I read this in the weekend, and it was a splendid read, and I did laugh, and I'm like taking notes, and I got some good quotes, and so tell us a little bit about you, Susie, before we go to the book.
So I think the reason that I started my business and of course wrote this book as a result is because I know that life is meant to feel good. It is meant to be easeful. We are meant to have what we want and live what we want and be who we are. And before I guess started working as a coach and as a writer, I was working in a corporate job for a long time in sales, Fortune 500 company. And, I liked it. It was fine. But my whole life, I just always knew that life was meant to be whatever your inner dream is. is. I knew it was possible. And when I started side hustling, I noticed that the universe works in your favor once you start taking action towards what it is that you want. So, I mean, truly, I think that like my biggest message certainly right now is that whatever you want is possible, right? The minute you take action and really start believing and allow the universe to work with you, to coexist with you and to co-create with you.
But leaving your job is a huge thing for most of us. When I ended my job and went on as a life coach, I ended 2 years on welfare.
Wow.
Crashed before I made any money. And it's so simple.
Yes.
So this one is more, you put it in an easier way. You say, actually, don't quit your job. Start it as a side hustle. And why?
Yeah. Well, so like you said, it's very risky, right? I mean, I was earning a lot of money in my job too. So I was used to, a great income, and I certainly had, your life gets used to whatever it is that you're earning. And so whenever someone said to me, oh, follow your dreams or go for what you want, it wasn't practical, right? I knew it wasn't practical. But I thought, if I use my evenings and weekends and I can prove the concept that being a coach is possible for me, and I grew up on welfare, Greece, so I know I have I'm very careful with money. I'm very, I respect money, but I wasn't in a position to just take a risk because that felt right. So side hustling was not only practical, it was fun. It showed me that I could make money. I was making, when I was working full time, around, $4,000 a month, like on the side. And I thought, wow, with my full-time focus and my energy really flowing towards this, I knew it could be bigger, but I had to hedge it. Yeah.
4,000 is a lot. So how did you come from $0 to $4,000 a month? That's for Norwegian crown. That's like, that's hard, but that's about 36,000 for us. That's pretty okay salary, not to live on, but
additionally, absolutely. But I also feel like I was given a lot of good fortune because I was on the right path for me, right? So I was, different clients were coming to me. I was getting great referrals. I managed to get some good media, which also drove people to me. And my energy was just so high because I was in my flow with it. So I felt like I was also attracting a lot because I was doing what I was meant to be doing. And that's what happens, right? Joseph Campbell speaks a lot about this. Like, I think, like, whenever you really focus, like, the doors open for you, these invisible doors open. And I felt like those positive things were happening because it was the right thing for me. In the same way that for other people, when they pursue what it is that they want to do, the same things happen for others. I've seen it so many times.
So what do you think is the biggest, because there's so many that wants to start, but they don't, you talk about it, about the fear.
Yes.
So what do you think is the biggest fear that people have out there for,
I think there are a few things. Sometimes we're often really worried about what other people will think. Actually, that's still one of the biggest objections I get in my group, in my program. People say, oh, I'm really nervous to send my emails or to release a video because, I'm a lawyer. And what if I want to be a matchmaker? That's just so incongruent, right? Like, it doesn't make And so, like, will people think I'm weird? Will people think it's confusing? And also sometimes because we suffer from imposter syndrome, right? We think, oh, I need to be qualified. I need all these accreditations. I need these millions of things before I can begin, which just isn't true. Like, I love to give examples of people like Rachel Ray, right? Who has, she has absolutely no training in the culinary arts at all, right? And Tom Ford, for example, who's amazing in fashion and film, his studies were in architecture. Right, like they're completely, like Richard Branson left school at 16 with dyslexia. So you don't need to have all these millions of things you think you need in order to begin. All you need is just the decision. You need to just make the decision and then not overthink the whole thing. Because sometimes we just get stuck in our heads and that's when we go crazy. We pause and we do nothing.
So what do you do when you actually have a head that goes crazy as well? So what do you do? So what do you do when your head goes crazy? I'm like, what I'm doing? I'm supposed to do this. I have that constantly. I'm like, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? So what do you do to get focused and do it?
So great. The difference with you is you're always doing things. Right? You're a big action taker. And even though I think sometimes, successful people, especially because there are lots of opportunities, there's a lot of overwhelm in terms of what's the right thing, what's not the right thing. But you're constantly out there doing things. And the most important thing, which is the only also logical thing to do, is just to follow your intuition. right? Because especially the more successful you become, the more comes your way. The more, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to be part of this and that? So the only thing you can do is just be quiet for a few minutes a day. You don't even have to meditate officially, right? But you can sit quietly in a room for a few.
I'll come up to you, for God's sake.
You can just sit quietly in a room, like, and just think, what's the right thing for me? Because right? Nobody can tell you what to do. No one knows what's right for you. Like, I don't know what's right for you to eat. I don't know where's right for you to travel. I don't know what's right for you to marry or not marry. I mean, you can't give anyone that advice because only they know. You can only help them find the answers from within.
And for the ones who's just thinking, like non-action takers, they'll sit down and think some more, or different.
So for the overthinkers, and there are many, and it breaks my heart a little bit, because I see people in my program, and I think they're often the most talented and the most competent, and they don't take any action.
Yeah.
Like they'll be in my program, they'll have ideas, they'll share ideas, but they won't pull the trigger or anything. They won't hit send on something because they're thinking. And clarity doesn't come from thinking, right? You can't get clear in your head, over. The only way to get your next idea, to get your next, to release your second book is to release your first book, right? To take action on your first idea. So the next steps are always revealed, but you're always stuck at step one if you're not doing anything, if you're not moving.
I think the reason I'm taking action all the time is exactly what you're saying, because I was doing nothing for 2 years and it didn't work. It just got me in a worse place. So
right.
When I learned to actually fuck up a heck of a lot. So
yes.
Yeah. So
and what's wrong with that, right? I mean, every successful person will always talk about failure. And it happens all the time. Like, I've launched products that haven't succeeded, right? I've launched, I've written articles that no one's read or no one's shared. Who cares, right? Who cares? Like, okay, on to the next. That's not the right one. This wasn't the right one. Because every even little mistake or failure, it just puts you back in another direction. But you need to keep taking them.
So one of the chapter you wrote about it's kind of shocking to me. You said something about over half of the people are actually miserable in their jobs. Or
oh yeah, it's so
it's just me.
it's so many people. So according to a Gallup survey, only 13% of Americans are engaged at work. Right, so 87% of people are just going through the motions, like on autopilot, showing up, doing what they have to, and then leaving. That is not the way to live your one precious life. Like, that is not the way to live. We're crazy. Like, the world is insane if that's how we feel life needs to be, right? To just show up and do what you have to in order to survive. Like, that's not what it's about. There's meant to be joy and abundance and fun and exploration and creativity. And this is all available while you keep all your benefits of your job, right? It's all available once you open yourself up to this idea of a side hustle, and you allow yourself to make it real. So,
but it is hard in the beginning. Starting your own side hustle is hard in the beginning.
Yeah,
for most people.
I think it's hard in terms of finding your idea or just getting started. Like, how do you mean it's hard?
Where do I start? Like, first it was like, dude, is it the website? And then the website became a project. It took a year, and then it was and then it was just where to begin. And that was the biggest thing for myself, is just, where do I begin? And it was so much. And then, as you say, start selling yourself before you have your shit together.
Oh yes, and I see so many people do this the wrong way around. It's like, in the beginning, you want, if not 100%, 80% of your energy to be focused on money. Right? So getting clients, you don't need a business card, you don't need a website, you don't need a logo, right? You can just start talking about yourself in the way that you want to be received. So you're like, oh, I create these gorgeous pieces of jewelry at home, or I help people with their resumes. You don't need a website to do that. Often you can just use a network that you have to begin, and then you can invest your side hustle money back into your business, but you don't want to start out with a glamorous photo shoot and a $5,000 website and all these other things. You can get started like today with a decision like that. It can begin. But where I see people often go wrong is they want to set up a business and they want to do all the foundational work without having revenue. So it's like money. I've written about this a lot, like side hustle ideas you can start for $0. Like just getting started, because this isn't meant to be an expensive hobby, right? It's meant to be like a profitable like gig on the side. And then also when you start making great money, you feel supported and you feel like you have options.
Yeah, I love the thing you wrote about how to say my name is. You actually had the whole recipe in the book, and I was like, oh, I'm copying that. Like, I need to have my elevator speech ready.
Well, I think that one thing that we can start doing, I used to do this, is when I was working as a sales director and I'd meet new people, I'd introduce myself as a life coach, because I wanted more clients, right? And I wanted people to know that, I was available for business. And so I just crafted this pitch that I've seen people use in different ways, which is helpful. You say, I'm a, wedding photographer, or I'm a wedding speech writer. I mean, there are so many different side hustles, or I'm a dog sitter. Like, it could be anything. And you can have a very simple way of explaining it that not only lets people know about what you do, but invites them to work with you.
You have so much good press. I was so impressed. I mean, Huffington Post. You talked to that Jeff dude that I met in the restaurant, but didn't have the courage to talk to. You actually went up a Ljungdalen and went to talk to him. I met him at Balthazar, and I was sitting there. I didn't have the guts. Where do you get the confidence to just freaking do it and put yourself out there?
Yeah, so I love this question, and I think that this comes up a lot because I write about confidence a lot, because confidence underpins everything good. Like, confidence is your best. Our friend Laura, she said to me, confidence is your best feeling, right? It is. It's like a feeling of power and possibility and just expecting good things to happen. And the way that I think about confidence is, in coaching, you learn about the confidence competence loop. Meaning, the more confident you are, the more you do stuff, and then the more you do stuff, the more competent you are. It's like a gorgeous loop. So my kind of thinking is kind of twofold. I think, number one, what's the worst that can happen? Right? So someone can be rude to me. It's happened before. I've lived through it. I'm still alive and well, as far as I can tell.
Right? Be rude to you. I don't get it.
Well, and also, if someone's rude, I don't take that personally, because it's not, I mean, I've probably been rude to people when I've been having a bad day. And if they take that, personally, then don't, because so much, if something goes wrong, or it's almost like we might consider it like a mini failure. Well, big deal, right? Yeah. Big deal. Like, what really is the worst that can happen? And secondly, I constantly remind myself, the ancient Greeks had a practice where they'd practice death every day, right? So in the morning, they'd contemplate their own death for a few minutes after waking, which allowed them to live with less fear, because they're just aware of their own mortality. It's like, we don't know how long we're going to live, right? I mean, hopefully it's a very, very long time, but you just don't know. And so in the face of that, cold, hard truth, what is so scary? Like, what is so scary? It's like, you're going to be dead anyway soon. So why not? Like, truly remind yourself of that, because sometimes we have, this vision in our mind that everything has to be perfect and we can't make a mistake, and, we're not important enough. It's like, hey, if you're here on earth, you're important. What you have to say is important. What you have to do is important. You matter. And and don't take it so seriously. That you have to take everything so seriously.
So what has been your biggest mistake this year?
My biggest mistake this year. Well, there have been many. Number one, there have been many. I think, gosh, it's hard to pick amongst all the mistakes. I think that I've allowed myself to be really distracted, like have lots of different areas of focus. And I read the book Essentialism. Have you read the book Essentialism?
Yeah, One Thing and One Thing and Essentialism. Awesome books.
Yeah, so I feel like I've been going in lots of directions a little bit. Versus really focusing. I mean, if I think about how that's affected my profit, or how that's affected my progress in terms of what what my goals were, that's probably been the biggest large mistake. Yeah. Because I feel like I could have just instead of doing 12 things, I could just do 2 things, deeply. But then loads of mistakes, technical mistakes, mistakes in terms of wasting my time going to things that, aren't for me, feeling guilty and wanting to please people and so saying yes. So, I mean, loads, but you forgive and learn. Forgive and learn. Yeah. Forgive yourself.
Yeah. Sorry. I got something in my throat. So I read in your book that you actually had side hustle money as a party for those dream boards.
Yes, yes.
Can you make money on that even?
Okay, so I'm not sure if you have it. Do you have a vision board?
No.
No. Oh, wow. Well, a vision board is, but not only are they kind of...
I had so many, but now at the time, and I was like, I need to have a vision board party as well.
Well, vision board parties are fantastic for a couple of reasons. Number one, everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people secretly want one, right? They don't know how to create one. They can be really nicely done in a group environment, especially with a lot of women if you bring them together. You need like loads of magazines and you can have wine or tea, whatever makes sense. But when it comes to vision boards, like they're powerful and fun, and you can do them in corporations, right? I did one for an investment bank for the women there for a holiday party. Yeah, I've done them for non-profits. I've been hired by people specifically if they're like, can you help and organize a vision board party for me and my friends? Like they're trending and fun and cool, and it's a great way to bring people together in a different way. It's just like a different type of event, and it's just how you package it and position it that decides whether or not you make money. Right.
It's just so amazing. So you actually make money on having vision board parties.
Yeah, so you can be hired like for like an event fee, and then you tell people, actually, I'm doing one at a yoga studio in the spring. At a yoga studio, they're hiring me to do it. So, but in the beginning, Gree, my first vision board party I made, I think I made like $900 or $1,000. I sold tickets to my friends to come to my house, and I'm like, I'll provide all the magazines and the cheese and everything, and it was sold out like in seconds. Like,
oh my God, that must be the best business idea ever.
But hey, I just start small.
Awesome fun, and you actually get paid for doing fun stuff.
You get paid to have your friends over, like, and I was like, I'll provide everything. You just show up, and then I had the right music, and I did a little opening in terms of this creative opening meditation from Shakti Gawaine's creative visualization book, and it was so much like, and then people talk, and then they want to, so it's just begin, right? I didn't know what I was doing.
Anyone can do that. I mean, so.
If you can collect 100 magazines, you can have a vision board party. Like, that's it.
I'm going out to my friends. Oh, I'm going to the SAS launch.
Oh, fantastic.
Starting there.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal your idea for my next team meeting.
Yeah, it's great. And it really bonds people. It brings you together. Yeah. Again, it just shows you how there are no limits in terms of what you can do. Like there are no limits. There are no rules. Right? It's just like up to you. Whatever you can conceive is possible.
Yeah. So how do people get the book? Where do they get it?
So you can get it wherever books are sold based on where you are. Otherwise, internationally, Amazon is probably the best bet. And you have your very own link, Gree, which is the name of the book, What If It Does workout.com/Gree.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to send that to my people in the email. So you give them actually specific, like this is how you do it. 1, 2, 3. So if you are dreaming about a side hustle, and that's the way to do it.
Is this term side hustle used outside of the US, Gree? Do you find? Because I find in Australia it's not quite used. In the UK, more so.
We do use a part-time job or not a side business. So it's
okay.
But we adapt.
Yeah, no,
I just don't like the word hustle because it's everything in American right now. I feel it's like, do you go for the balance side or do you go for the hustle side? And the hustle side is more like Gary Vee, just work 24/7.
No, great. It's interesting because actually, honestly, I don't really like the word hustle either. Right, I don't like it either because I feel like it's like sweating and being punished, and suffering. But I think that hustle and balance can coexist, especially when you kind of make the right decisions. Like I was saying, I made a lot of wrong decisions this year in terms of wanting to do everything, But I think I just use the phrase, like this expression, side hustle, because it works, right? It's like allowing it to be easier. I mean, I could try and coin my own expression and explain what that is. But it's a decision to just go with what people understand too. So sometimes I think we can in life make things harder. It's like, and people come to me saying, I want to start this side hustle. And this idea has never been done before. And I mean, that's cool, but that makes me nervous, right? If someone's like, this has never been done, because you don't want to risk like your first business with your $0 investment, you know, by something that hasn't been proven, right? Yeah. Competition is good. Like, how many life coaches are in New York? Like 30, how many, right? How many, right?
We even look alike.
I know. Which one should I use?
The bond.
But I mean, when I used to Google New York life coach and just kind of research it right before I even got started, my initial reaction was like, feeling disheartened, or like that, you know, it's too busy, it's saturated, there's no room for me. But then I realized more and more, the reason that it is saturated is because it works. People will always have problems. Like, life coaching is a great business to go into if that's how you know what you feel called to do. So like, competition is a good thing. And as you know, like, often the people you feel are competitive with, you collaborate with, you end up working with in lots of different ways. So don't be put off too by something seeming like, oh, that's already been done, or, you know, there are a lot of people doing that. That's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
I think my audience is more like, I don't have the confidence to sell. And it's lacking, like, like you said, it's all the excuses, like, I have to take another course. Or another education. I need to, you know, I have to get older to be a life coach, and then I'm too old to be a life coach.
I know, I mean, it's crazy how, number one, how hard we are on ourselves, but also like this place of being in that like procrastinate learning, where we have to constantly be learning.
I love that word. Learning.
Procrastinate learning. It's like, no, just begin. But truly the thing is, if you don't feel confident enough and you feel afraid and you feel uncomfortable, number one, everyone feels that way all the time. Like, everyone feels that way all the time. I'm constantly afraid. And if I don't feel afraid or uncomfortable in terms of my next step, or a bit, you know, unsafe or unsure, I know I'm probably not thinking big enough or doing big enough things. Right? So fear is good. Right? Fear is good. You can allow it to kind of show you the way a little bit. Like, if something feels good, fear, like, as in, if you take action on that fear, and like, what if it does work out? What if it does work out? And another great life coaching practice to do is to just remember your successes. Women in particular always remember what they messed up, what they did wrong. This is you know, a large reason women don't ask for pay rises in the same way that men do. Men will remember what they did well and talk about it. And women will be like, oh, well, there was that one comma error in that presentation 2 years ago, right?
Yes, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. I learned it from Brent Bouchard. He said, I had like 5 haters. I was so nervous. I'm like, I have 5 haters. I'm like, and he said, okay, how many do you have on your list? And I said, about 10,000. He said, and you focus on those 5 haters instead of those 9,995 other people.
Exactly.
That's where it belongs, girl. And I was like, shit.
Exactly. And that's so important, right? And we're often like, you know, like we're saying, we can be so hard on ourselves. It's like, how about I'm doing this well? I did that well. I helped my sister move house. I helped my colleague with that report. I helped, you know, a friend of mine go through a divorce. All of these things that you do well, we're so quick to discount them. Yeah. Right. To forget about them. Like, oh, you know, that was nothing. It's not, it's something. Right? Yeah. So it's like constantly reminding yourself of your successes, like what it is you're good at. I mean, it's up to you. No one can decide your thoughts for you, right? No one can decide, you know, where your focus is going to be or what you're going to think when you wake up in the morning, apart from you. And great, the first thing I see in the morning is my vision board. When I wake up, it's in front of
I need to see that vision board.
Vision boards rule, I tell you, because you're just constantly looking at the images, like the places you want to go, the feelings you want to have. And so, but you can also be very intentional about setting your mood that way. Like, my vision board isn't there by accident, right? And like the self-help books I read and the podcasts I listen to, they're not by accident either, because I know how I want to feel.
Yeah.
Like, I want to listen to people who make me feel, you know, alive, and who make me feel like anything's possible for me, and, you know, I'm in control. So of, you know, at least the portion of like the corner of the world that I touch, right? Yeah. What it is that I can control. So that's on purpose. Like it's
Yeah.
very, and you can create these rituals for yourself. Like anyone can do this. I mean, the internet makes everything possible. And if you just read 10 minutes of a great self-help book a day, I mean, that changes your perspective.
Yeah, it does. I do have a vision videos
Oh,
every day, so it's kind of the same, but it's not.
right. What do your videos show you?
Just show me where I want to be, who I want to hang out with, where, you know, I'm at the spa, I'm in a helicopter, I have a chef,
Yeah.
stage, I have a book, so I have all these things in the video, and then I have the feelings I want to feel. So yeah.
So I mean, it's the same thing, different format, right? It's like that's what works for you. But I've noticed that even if I miss one day of consuming some inspirational material, or just reading something powerful, or listening to a YouTube video, then I feel the difference.
Yeah.
Like I can slip into oh my gosh, everything's like my life is terrible. I hate my husband. I hate my life. you have to work on yourself, like constantly. Well, not even work on yourself, but just allow the good stuff in. Like allow.
So how do you start your mornings? I mean, your mornings is everything. I mean, how do you start your mornings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So right now I'm doing the Oprah and Deepak meditation. Have you been doing that?
Oh, I have it too. That's how I do it every morning and every night now.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, every night
I bought every one of them even. They have like a free one going out now, but then you can buy it after, so you can download it.
So lately I'm doing the free one. I just saw it. I downloaded it. And I wake up, I have my tea. I listen to that before I check any apps. Right? Because you can wake up, and if you have one bad email or one annoying, stupid Facebook comment, like, no.
That's the tone of the day. So
exactly.
Not after 9 p.m. and not before.
No, exactly. So you wake up, like I see my vision board. I use the 5-minute journal. I love that. I'm not sure if you know the 5-minute journal. I listen to some form of meditation or Abraham Hicks, which I love. And that's it. Like simple, like nothing crazy. And if I'm really in a rush, I'll listen on the move.
Yeah.
Like I'll put my hair in a ponytail and just get out of here, but still have have my headphones on and listen to the stuff that I know I need to get myself into the mindset, which will allow my day to go really well.
Awesome. So what's the first thing a girl like me wants to start a side hustle does? What's the first step?
So if you want to start a side hustle, excellent, right? Already congratulate yourself for acknowledging that you want to do something really clever. Right? There is no downside here. Like it's win-win. You keep your job, you become creatively fulfilled, you have ownership, you have options, you have more money. Like it's win-win, win-win-win, right? And the worst that can happen is you make a couple of mistakes in the beginning, which you will do, right? Which will then set you up for the next decision, right? Set you up for better. So if you want a side hustle already, you need one. Like that's already a major sign that there's one waiting for you. And just trust your idea. Like, trust your idea. Also agree, like now more than ever, like, you asked before, where do you get started? The resources are everywhere, right? Like there is so much for free. You can learn Google. I know you can read books online. You can watch YouTube videos. You can create your own website. Like there is so much that you can do. The most important thing is just to do something. Like to do something. And as a coach, I always say, do something within 24 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah, so not just like, I'll get to that, because as you know, it's never the right time to do anything. The conditions are always impossible, right? It's like, my mom's sick, I gotta do this, busy at work, gotta travel, but it doesn't matter. It's like taking action quickly.
I say first action, buy the book, and then second action, get to it within 24 hours.
Get moving.
To read. It's a like 3-4 hour read, and then you just got mentally set. At least I got mentally set for my new. And I gotta say, after I got my side hustle, I thought I had more than enough. But after I got my side hustle, I learned more about the new business. I got my leadership skills more present, and so it was so much to learn. So as an entrepreneur, I was like, ooh, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this. Then I got a side hustle that just really fired up my energy, and that energy went into all other areas of the life. So
Right. That's actually such a good point. Like once you start a side hustle, you think it's just one area, but it affects everything. Like it makes you a better friend, right? It makes you like a better, like everything, because you're just
even your job that you don't like is more fun.
Yes, exactly. Because you're like, this is funding my dream.
Yeah.
Right? This is my little personal VC over here. You know, I'm saying, you know, so it's so, I mean, that's very true. Can I ask you, because I find it so interesting, when you said, you know, you struggled for a couple of years, then something changed. What specifically changed for you?
When I was in a bathroom floor in my little cabin, and I was actually suicidal, I'm like, I had to decide if I wanted to live or die. To me, it was that. It was like I've been 2 years on welfare. I was a consultant earning lots of money, and then starting as a life coach and lost everything. And then instead of keep fighting, I just gave up and started eating potato chip and not showering.
No. But something happened after 2 years.
After 2 years, I was like, I just looked myself in the mirror and I was ashamed. I was ashamed who I became. I was like the fun girl. I was lots of energy, and here I was like sits everywhere, fat and no energy and not taking care of myself. So I was embarrassed to the point that I had to do something.
And you just, and I think it's so, like, I love hearing this because you changed that, right? You went from one place to another place to the place you want to be.
And it just took 3 months. That's the thing. It was just shocking to me after, is that you think that it needs to take forever. When I finally got my ass going, it took 3 months. And to me, I started with my health. I was just saying, I'm going to run a marathon in 3 months. So I went from sick in bed, couldn't do 1 mile even, 1 kilometer even, running a marathon. And when I did that, I was like, shit, I can do anything. If I can run a marathon, I can do it. And that's where, you know, the health part just switched into my coaching clients. I started getting clients again. I started doing an online course, and then just talking about my journey. I'm like, here I am shitty and awful, and here I am not successful, but more successful than I was 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So, I was just talking. I was just 3 weeks in front of my clients all the time. And I think that's where I'm still at. I'm just learning new stuff, and then I'm just teaching what I learned. I'm doing a workshop now, teaching, you know, the stuff that Selena and you and Chris taught me. And I'm just going to lay it out. I'm like, never thought about this before. This is what they said. And why don't you try it? I'm going to try it. So
fantastic. Great. What I love about you, like I love about hearing this, is you're not saying, I have all the answers. I'm the expert. I know everything. I'm perfect. You're like, well, I know a little bit and I'm sharing it. Right.
Exactly.
It's like, and it's not like, wait, I have to have the perfect, you know, PowerPoint and the perfect workshop and the perfect, you know, it's like, well, I know something. I might be like a tiny bit further ahead than you because I know this stuff, and I'm just sharing that. It's like losing the pressure, right? That's also where I think the action piece can come in, because you're not overthinking it. You're not imagining some perfect outcome. It's just, hey, I got something to share.
Yeah, and I think it's just the thing that I get screwed up so many times that, and I mean, in the worst, I mean, with my kids, doing it in a side hustle doesn't count that much when you try and screw up your kids. I mean, that's major mistakes. And I still survived and get loved. So, I mean, I think that's what
do you think, because I ask myself this question sometimes, do you think the more failures you have, and of course there are many, the more things you do, just mathematically, that's how it goes. Do you think that it makes more failures easier because you bounce back, because your resilience is...
Definitely. That's the thing I put on my lamp the day I decided to change my life. I'm like, I'm just going to do one success every day. So I had this thing on my bed lamp right there. It says, fuck up, screw up, do the same mistake over again, another screw up, a fuck up, and then one right, and you're good to go. So I just starting the day and saying, let's try as many, just one stick, because as I think it was Marie Folio that had this in one webinar. She said something about if you just have one right every day and just try so many things that you do one right every day, you have 365 rights. That's more than so.
Yeah, and over the course of a year, that can be a great business, or that can be a great anything.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And that's how it started. It turned out to be I think we went from zero then when I started doing that. From $0 to $1 million in 18 months. And that's crazy because only thing we did or I did was making mistakes. So yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah, so that is massive permission, everyone. Right. That's like, go ahead and
fuck up.
The more the better. I mean, not intentionally, but everything, there'll be mistakes, right? And so if you can just have a sense of humor, right? Sense of humor to make everything better. And
I love that about you, Susie. Every time I'm with you just laugh more than any people I know.
That's anything else is insane, right? If you're not laughing, what are you doing?
Okay, I'm going to copy that one because I'm not laughing at all. So I'm just, okay, no, I need to have a good reason for laughing. What are you laughing about?
Anything. Like, when you think about it, everything is funny, right? Like, everything is funny. And also, even a great mood shifter, if I'm feeling a bit bit down or a bit low, or I've had there's been a disappointment, I will consciously watch a funny movie or a funny YouTube or something because it gets you back in your zone. Like that. Like, so do it. Don't wait. Don't wait until tomorrow. Like,
okay.
Do it.
Thank you so much, Susie. I love the book. I love you. I'm so excited to go to Solo House with you.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun together, Green.
Yeah, laugh your asses off. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I totally adore you, and you're the best.
You too. Thank you, Green. Lots of love. Mwah.